You know that feeling, don't you? That moment when you suddenly open your eyes and everything is dark and quiet. You look at the clock, and yup, there it is again. 2 a.m. Or maybe 3 a.m. Or somewhere in the middle of the night. You feel wide awake, maybe a little restless, maybe even a touch anxious about not being asleep. It's frustrating, isn't it? Especially when you were hoping for a solid 7 or 8 hours of rest. You toss and turn, trying to get back to sleep. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But that regular midnight or 2 a.m. wake-up call becomes a pattern, a habit your body seems determined to keep. You start to wonder, why is this happening? Every night. Is it just normal getting older? Does it mean something's wrong? It can feel like a secret code your body is trying to send you, and you just don't have the key to understand it. Well, you're not alone. Not by a long shot. Many people, especially as they get a little older, find themselves facing this exact same issue. It's not just a random inconvenience. It's often a sign, a message from your body or your mind. In this video, we're going to unlock that secret code. We'll explore the most common reasons why you might be waking up like clockwork in the early hours. And more importantly, we'll talk about practical, gentle things you can do to help yourself sleep through the night more often. Sometimes the answers are simpler than you think. Watch to the end, because we'll cover something that might truly surprise you about what's going on. So, let's dive into some of the main culprits behind that unwelcome 2 a.m. alarm clock. One of the most frequent reasons folks find themselves wide awake in the middle of the night is something incredibly basic. Something many of us over a certain age deal with: needing to use the bathroom. Think about it. You go to bed. Maybe you had a cup of tea or water a bit later than you should have. Or perhaps your body is just processing fluids differently these days. Your bladder fills up. And bam! There's the signal that pulls you out of that lovely deep sleep. It's a powerful urge. And once you're up and moving around, even just for a minute or two, your body starts to shift gears. The sleep inertia wears off. Your brain starts waking up, and getting back to sleep can feel like a mountain climb. This is incredibly common. As we age, our bodies produce less of a hormone called ADH, or antidiuretic hormone. This hormone tells our kidneys to produce less urine, especially at night. With less of it, the kidneys keep working, producing more urine, and your bladder fills faster. Plus, the muscles in the bladder can weaken a bit, making it harder to hold as much as you used to. It's a double whammy. What can you do about this? Well, the first and most obvious step is to watch your fluid intake in the couple of hours before bed. Try to finish drinking most of your liquids at least 2 hours before you plan to hit the pillow. This gives your body time to process everything and hopefully lets you empty your bladder right before you get into bed. Now, I'm not saying dehydrate yourself during the day. Far from it. Staying hydrated throughout the day is vital for your health. It's just about timing. Also, think about what you're drinking. Certain things are diuretics, meaning they make you produce more urine. Coffee and tea, especially caffeinated ones, are big offenders. Alcohol is another. While a small drink might make you feel sleepy initially, it often disrupts sleep later in the night and acts as a diuretic. Even decaf tea can make you need to go because it's still liquid you're taking in. So, try swapping that evening tea or water for earlier in the evening. Or maybe just taking small sips if you absolutely need something before bed. Another thing people often find helpful is elevating their legs during the day. Swelling in the ankles and legs during the day means fluid is pooling there due to gravity. When you lie down at night, that fluid re-enters your bloodstream and your kidneys process it, leading to more urine production at night. Elevating your legs for a bit in the afternoon or early evening can help some of that fluid get processed. Before bedtime, it's a simple trick, but for some, it makes a noticeable difference. Going to the bathroom right before you get into bed is a must, of course, but also consider a double void. Try to go once, Then wait a few minutes and try again. Sometimes you can empty your bladder more fully that way. Beyond the bladder. Another frequent flyer on the waking up at 2 a.m. circuit is blood sugar. This might sound a bit surprising, but your blood sugar levels play a huge role in your sleep quality. If your blood sugar drops too low overnight, your body releases stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline to try and raise it back up. These hormones are designed to wake you up and get you moving, which is exactly what happens when your blood sugar is crashing. You might wake up feeling a bit shaky, sweaty, or just suddenly alert. Eating sugary snacks or refined carbohydrates close to bedtime can cause your blood sugar to spike, and then crash a few hours later, right around that 2 a.m. mark. Even if you don't have diabetes, your body's ability to regulate blood sugar changes as you get older. What might have been fine to eat in the evening years ago might cause issues now. What's the fix here? It's about balancing what you eat, especially in the evening, instead of sugary treats or a big bowl of pasta late at night. Opt for a small, balanced snack if you're genuinely hungry before bed. Think something with a bit of protein and healthy fat or fiber. A few nuts. A small piece of cheese. Or a small portion of plain yogurt can help stabilize your blood sugar levels throughout the night. Eating your evening meal earlier can also help. Giving your body a few hours to digest before you lie down is beneficial in many ways, including blood sugar regulation. Avoid skipping dinner altogether if you can, as going to bed genuinely hungry can also cause blood sugar dips. It's about finding that balance where you're not going to bed starving, but you're also not overeating or filling up on things that will send your sugar levels on a roller coaster. Small, consistent changes to your evening eating habits can have a surprisingly big impact on those nighttime awakenings. Now, shifting gears from internal body processes, let's think about your sleep environment. Sometimes, the reason you're waking up isn't something happening inside you, but something happening around you. The temperature of your bedroom, for example, is incredibly important for sleep. If your room is too hot or too cold, it can easily pull you out of sleep. As we get older, our ability to regulate our body temperature can change, making us more sensitive to the room temperature. Waking up feeling too warm and throwing off the covers, or feeling a chill and needing to pull them closer, is a very common way to interrupt sleep. And once you're partially awake because of the temperature, it's easier for other minor things to fully wake you. Ideal sleep temperature varies a bit from person to person, but generally, experts recommend keeping your bedroom on the cooler side, somewhere between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit, about 15 to 19 degrees Celsius. This cooler temperature helps your body's core temperature drop slightly, which is a natural part of the sleep process. If your room is too warm, your body has to work harder to cool down, which can lead to restless sleep and waking up. If it's too cold, you might wake up feeling chilly or with stiff muscles. Think about comfortable, breathable bedding too. Natural fibers like cotton or bamboo can help regulate temperature better than synthetic materials. Layers are also great. Use blankets you can easily add or remove if you get too warm or cool during the night. Sometimes it's as simple as adjusting the thermostat or using a fan for air circulation. Don't underestimate how much your physical comfort, especially temperature, affects whether you sleep through the night. Another environmental factor is light. Even small amounts of light can disrupt sleep. Street lights filtering through the window, the glow from an alarm clock, or even indicator lights on electronics can be enough to pull you into a lighter stage of sleep or wake you up entirely, especially if you're already in that slightly more wakeful phase around 2 a.m. Our bodies are programmed to respond to light. It signals wakefulness. To combat this, make your bedroom as dark as possible. Blackout curtains are fantastic for blocking out external light. Cover or turn away any glowing electronics. If you need a nightlight for safety, choose a dim one with a red or orange tint, as these colors are less disruptive to sleep hormones than blue or white light. Consider an eye mask if you can get used to it. It's a simple, portable way to ensure darkness. Noise is the final major environmental factor. Unexpected noises like a car horn, a neighbor's television, or even the plumbing in your own house can jar you awake. But even consistent, low-level noise can keep your brain from fully relaxing into deep sleep. If external noise is an issue, earplugs can be very effective. Alternatively, white noise or a fan can create a consistent, soothing background sound that helps to mask sudden noises. The key is to create a sleep sanctuary, a bedroom that is consistently cool, dark, and quiet, providing the optimal conditions for uninterrupted sleep. Making these environmental adjustments might seem minor, but creating that ideal sleep space can significantly reduce those unwanted 2 a.m. wake-ups. It's about controlling the external factors so your body and mind can focus on getting the rest they need. Moving on from the physical environment, let's consider something that might be a little less tangible, but just as powerful: what's going on in your head. Stress and anxiety are huge disruptors of sleep at any age. But sometimes as we get older, worries can feel more persistent. Or perhaps the late hours are just when our minds decide to replay the day's events or fret about the future. You go to bed tired. Maybe you drift off okay. But then, a few hours later, around that dreaded 2 a.m., your mind switches on. Suddenly, you're wide awake, thinking about something that happened yesterday, something you need to do tomorrow, a health worry, a family concern, or just a general sense of unease. It's like your brain decides the middle of the night is the perfect time to hold a board meeting, and you're the only attendee. This kind of mental activation releases those same stress hormones, cortisol and adrenaline, that we talked about with low blood sugar. They make you alert, they make your heart rate increase slightly, and they make falling back asleep incredibly difficult. It's a vicious cycle. You worry about not sleeping, which makes it harder to sleep, which makes you worry more. So, how do you quiet that busy mind when it decides to start chattering at 2 a.m.? This is where establishing some calming pre-sleep routines can be incredibly helpful. Instead of going straight from a stimulating activity like watching the news or scrolling on a tablet to trying to sleep, give yourself a buffer period. Spend the hour before bed winding down. This could involve reading a physical book not on a screen, listening to calming music, taking a warm bath, or doing some gentle stretching. The goal is to signal to your brain and body that it's time to transition from the busyness of the day to rest. If you wake up in the night with your mind racing, try not to just lie there and stew. If you can't get back to sleep after 15-20 minutes, get out of bed, go to another room, keep the lights dim, and do something quiet and non-stimulating. You could read that physical book, listen to a calming podcast, or practice some gentle breathing exercises. The idea is to break the association between your bed and being awake and frustrated. When you feel sleepy again, then go back to bed. It sounds counterintuitive to get up, but lying there stressing often makes it worse. Another technique that can be surprisingly effective for managing nighttime anxiety is keeping a worry journal. Sometime in the late afternoon or early evening, take 10-15 minutes to write down anything that's on your mind. Jot down your worries, your to-do lists, your thoughts about the day. The idea is to offload these things onto paper before you go to bed, so they're less likely to pop up and demand your attention in the middle of the night. It's like telling your brain, okay, we've dealt with this for today. We'll revisit it tomorrow. For general stress or anxiety, exploring relaxation techniques like deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, or mindfulness meditation can also be powerful tools. There are many guided meditations available online or through apps specifically designed for sleep or relaxation. Even just a few minutes of focused, slow breathing can help calm your nervous system and make it easier to drift back to sleep if you do wake up. Remember, it's not about eliminating all thoughts or worries, which isn't realistic, but about finding ways to manage them so they don't completely hijack your sleep. Now, let's talk about something a bit different: medications. As we get older, it's more likely that we're taking one or more prescription or over-the-counter medications. And while these medications are often essential for managing health conditions, many of them can have side effects that impact sleep. Some medications are stimulating and can make it harder to stay asleep. Others might cause frequent urination. As we discussed earlier, even common medications like blood pressure pills, steroids, or certain antidepressants can affect sleep patterns. The timing of when you take your medication can also play a role. If you take a diuretic, a water pill in the evening, you're almost guaranteed to be up in the night needing the bathroom. If you take a stimulating medication too late in the day, its effects might still be present in the early morning hours. This is where it's really important to have an open conversation with your doctor or pharmacist. If you suspect that a medication might be contributing to your nighttime awakenings, don't just stop taking it on your own. Talk to your healthcare provider. They might be able to adjust the dosage, change the timing of when you take it, or suggest an alternative medication that is less likely to disrupt your sleep. For example, they might suggest taking a diuretic earlier in the day, or switching a medication that affects sleep to the morning instead of the evening. Sometimes, even over-the-counter remedies for things like colds, allergies, or pain can contain ingredients that are stimulating. Reading the labels carefully and being aware of potential side effects is key. Keep a simple sleep diary for a week or two, noting when you wake up and what medications you took that day. This can provide valuable information to share with your doctor to help pinpoint potential medication-related issues. Your doctor is your best resource for navigating this, as they can consider your overall health picture and all the medications you're taking. Beyond medications, another physical reason for waking up can be discomfort or pain. Aches and pains, whether from arthritis, back issues, or other chronic conditions, can make it difficult to get comfortable enough to stay asleep. You might fall asleep initially when you're tired, but as the night wears on, lying in one position can become painful, causing you to shift and potentially wake up. Restless leg syndrome, RLS, a condition that causes uncomfortable sensations and an urge to move the legs, often worsens in the evening and can easily wake someone up or prevent them from getting back to sleep. If pain or discomfort is regularly waking you up, talk to your doctor about pain management strategies, especially for nighttime. This could involve adjusting the timing of pain medication, using topical creams, trying different pillows or mattresses to improve support and alignment, or incorporating gentle stretching or physical therapy into your routine to help manage chronic pain. For restless leg syndrome, there are specific treatments available that can help manage the symptoms. Again, this is definitely something to bring up with your healthcare provider, as they can properly diagnose and recommend the best course of action for your specific situation. Getting physical comfort right in bed is just as important as the temperature and darkness of the room. Making sure you're not being woken up by physical discomfort is a key piece of the puzzle. Another factor that significantly impacts sleep, especially as we age, is our exposure to natural light and our activity levels during the day. Our bodies have an internal clock called the circadian rhythm, which regulates our sleep-wake cycle. This clock is strongly influenced by light, particularly sunlight. Getting enough exposure to natural light during the day helps keep your circadian rhythm on track, signaling to your body that it's daytime and time to be awake and active, which in turn helps you feel sleepy when it gets dark. If you spend most of your day indoors, especially in dimly lit environments, your circadian rhythm can become disrupted, making it harder to maintain a solid block of sleep at night. Regular physical activity during the day also supports healthy sleep. It helps you expend energy, reduces stress, and can deepen sleep. Even moderate activity, like a brisk walk, can make a difference. However, the timing of activity matters. Intense exercise too close to bedtime can be stimulating and make it harder to fall asleep initially. Aim to finish any vigorous exercise at least a few hours before you plan to go to bed. Gentle activities like a leisurely walk or stretching in the evening are usually fine and can even be relaxing. So, try to build in some time each day to get outside, especially in the morning if possible, and find ways to incorporate gentle movement into your routine. It doesn't have to be strenuous. Consistency is more important. A morning walk in the sunshine, or even just bright daylight and some gentle activity later in the day, can help reinforce that natural sleep-wake cycle and potentially reduce those nighttime awakenings. Finally, let's touch upon a habit that has crept into many of our lives and is a major sleep thief: screen time before bed. Looking at phones, tablets, computers, or even watching television in the hour or two before you go to sleep can seriously mess with your body's natural sleep signals. These devices emit blue light, which is the same type of light that is abundant in natural daylight. Exposure to blue light suppresses the production of melatonin, the hormone that tells your body it's time to sleep. So, when you're scrolling through news or watching a show right before bed, you're essentially telling your brain it's still daytime, making it harder to fall asleep and stay asleep. This disruption to your melatonin production can easily contribute to waking up in the early hours. The advice here is straightforward. Though not always easy to follow in practice, create a screen-free zone before bed. Ideally, try to avoid all screens for at least an hour, or even better, 2 hours, before you go to sleep. This gives your melatonin levels a chance to rise naturally, preparing your body for rest instead of screen time. Use that time for those relaxing pre-sleep activities we talked about earlier: reading a physical book, listening to music, talking to a partner, or practicing a calming hobby. If you absolutely must use a screen in the evening, consider using blue light filtering glasses or activating the night mode or warm light settings available on many devices, which reduces the blue light emission. However, even with filters, the stimulating content you're viewing can keep your mind active. So, stepping away from screens entirely before bed is the most effective strategy for supporting healthy sleep patterns and reducing those middle-of-the-night wake-ups caused by disrupted melatonin and an overstimulated mind. So, we've talked about quite a few different things that could be causing you to wake up at 2 a.m., from needing the bathroom or blood sugar dips to stress, medication side effects, pain, lack of daylight, and even your screen habits. It might seem like a lot, but the important takeaway is that waking up in the night isn't just bad luck. It's often your body or mind giving you feedback. It's a signal that something in your habits, your environment, or your physical state needs a little attention. Think of these awakenings not as failures, but as clues. Clues that point you towards areas where you can make small, manageable changes to support better, more continuous sleep. You might find that it's primarily one thing, like watching your evening drinks, or it might be a combination of a couple of factors, like managing stress and adjusting your room temperature. The beauty is that you have the power to investigate these clues and try different gentle approaches. Remember, achieving perfect, unbroken sleep every single night might not always be realistic, especially as we get older. It's natural for sleep patterns to change a bit. The goal isn't necessarily to never wake up, but to reduce the frequency of those disruptive awakenings and, when you do wake up, to be able to fall back asleep relatively easily. By addressing the potential causes we've discussed, you're giving your body and mind the best possible chance to achieve more restful, consolidated sleep. Don't feel overwhelmed by the list. Pick 1 or 2 things that resonate most with you, that feel like the most likely culprits based on your own experience, and start there. Maybe it's focusing on reducing evening fluids for a week, or consciously avoiding screens for an hour before bed, or trying those leg elevation techniques. Make one small change, see how it feels, and build from there. Progress, not perfection, is the aim. You deserve to sleep well. You deserve to wake up feeling refreshed, not frustrated by another broken night. Reclaiming your sleep is possible, and it starts with understanding these signals your body is sending you. By paying attention to what might be happening around that 2 a.m. mark and gently adjusting your habits or environment. You can make a real difference in the quality of your rest. This isn't about drastic measures. It's about making mindful choices that support your natural sleep rhythms. We've covered a lot, and I hope this has given you some clarity and practical steps to explore. If you've experienced these middle-of-the-night awakenings, I'd love to hear about it. Share your own experiences or what you've tried in the comments below. Your insights might help someone else who is going through the same thing. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. It lets me know I'm creating content you value. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel. We share lots of tips and information to help you live your best life at every age, and you won't want to miss out on future videos. Thank you for watching. And here's to more peaceful, uninterrupted nights ahead. Live your best life at every age.